Well, would you look at that? Hong Kong Monetary Authority has launched its supervisory incubator for distributed ledger technology initiative to assist banks in adopting distributed ledger technology. This is absolutely insane. This is one of the craziest headlines that I have read in the last roughly, 12 months, I'm just going to say. And it's not so much about the actual headline. It's about where we are currently in terms of this cycle. This entire market, if you will. We're going to talk about it. We have to address it because it is very important. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So what's so crazy about this post here? What's crazy is the fact that we now have banks ready to adopt DLT. And we now have legitimate authorities, government authorities, in this case, right, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. They're assisting the banks in adopting DLT. They're doing this because of how efficient and how big of a game changer the technology actually is. I have said it time and time again. The banks are not going to sit around and do nothing while DLT grows and grows and grows. They are going to be forced to either adopt or die. That's it. Now, why do I find this specific announcement, though, very significant? Well, outside of the fact that banks are now ready to adopt DLT, it's Hong Kong Monetary Authority. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority is not some new name around crypto. If we go back here to May of 2023, Ripple to demonstrate tokenization in HKMA-EHKD pilot program using new CBDC platform. This is focused on retail CBDC use cases such as the equity release of tokenized real estate assets with Ripple's new CBDC product. So why is this very important? Well, let's think about this. Okay, so if the Hong Kong Monetary Authority is now looking into assisting banks in adopting DLT, and this is focusing on a CBDC, or central bank digital currency, if you didn't know, guess what? All of the banks in the Hong Kong region would be utilizing this CBDC, which means that since the Hong Kong Monetary Authority is looking at Ripple for this, hypothetical EHKD pilot program, that means that all of these banks would have to utilize Ripple in terms of either their CBDC product itself, their Ripple custody platform, or the Ripple payments platform, which does leverage DLT, the XRP ledger. This is why I find this very interesting. And if we look more into this, okay, there was a video also from May of 2023 where it said our regulation will be tight, which means they were looking at all of the players from the space and they had their sights set on Ripple because Ripple has been extremely compliant, even though there has been an SEC lawsuit circulating around Ripple. These areas around the world are, they are aware of how big of a joke the SEC is and has been. But again, we focus on these connections. We focus on these announcements because they are very important to some of the newer ones, like this one. Now, also, we have over here from August 2nd of 2023, Fubon Bank Ripple to use HKCBDC in real estate tokenization pilot. Now, you might be saying, well, Nick, isn't this the same exact thing from over here? It's technically not, because if we actually look into this, we could see some more information around this. This is a bank. This is not just the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. This is a bank, aka Fubon Bank in this case, that is unveiling plans to utilize the XRP ledger around this tokenization pilot for real estate tokenization. Now, on top of this, we also have why a CBDC helps for high value property transactions. And this is where we got a complete breakdown of this, especially with like the Bank of England, for an example, with results from Project Meridian. This is around like delivery versus payment settlement. But outside of that, we also have the full-on experiment being talked about regarding this fast payment system that Hong Kong has, and how this could attract users and convince them of the benefits of a CBDC. And the HKMA needs added value use cases, and Ripple was a solid choice for this. But also on top of this, we have over here that Hex Trust supports Ripple and Fubon Bank in the HKMA EHKD pilot program. Now, this is from November 2nd, but this is with Hex Trust. And if you guys don't know about Hex Trust, you should, because this is a very big player in Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, Italy, and even Vietnam. And they also have a ton of investors behind them, some of the biggest names that you guys probably already are aware of. For an example, you could read them here. The BCW, for an example, is a huge one. We also have Hashkey on here, Fumbushi Capital. There's some pretty large names tied back to Hex Trust. This is also another, company that was exploring supply chain use cases with Ripple, utilizing the XRP ledger as well. So definitely focus on them. But then we also think about some other additional connections that Ripple does have to some very big banks that are already, utilizing DLT. DZ Bank, for an example. This is a post from January 8th. Customer Spotlight, DZ Bank launched a secure custody solution for tokenized bonds and crypto assets. With Ripple Custody, they're simplifying digital asset management and driving efficiency. We have over here, DZ Bank pioneers institutional digital asset custody offering with Ripple Custody. And yeah, this is all through Ripple's infrastructure. Now, I'm not going to say that they're using the XRP ledger or XRP at all, through this, but their goal is to develop a cutting-edge solution for the custody, settlement, and management of digital assets seamlessly integrated with existing capital market processes. And what's significant about that, and what's interesting about that, is that how are they going to do this? How are they going to settle all of these things? Remember what David Schwartz said around tokenization and why the XRP ledger is so important for tokenization? It's because of XRP being asset neutral, meaning that XRP can settle any two assets. It's the best bridge currency. David Schwartz said that with tokenization, you're not just going to want those assets to sit on chain. You're going to want to buy, sell, trade, swap, whatever the case may be. And XRP is a perfect asset to be that underlying settlement asset, even with the stablecoin. Over here, we have DZ Bank alongside HSBC's harmonized platform enables RLUSD and stablecoins for swift payments by bridging blockchains with traditional finance. Medico secures custody and compliance with Chainlink, ensures data accuracy. With both platforms rolling out, they streamline cross-border payments and make tokenized assets easily accessible and secure for institutional financial systems. Big shout out to Mr. Man XRP for this. He's actually quoting the DZ Bank announcement in terms of the customer spotlight. But check this out.
Basically look at, how you have to have, I believe that paradigm shifts happen in sort of three phases, right? So, and those, you got to have infrastructure to transition in the old, all right, so, or the current, and that would give you ability to transform the way you do. You're still doing the old way, but you transform the way you deliver services, right?
Yeah.
So first is transition, and then you basically transform, and then only the paradigm shift comes through, which is to reimagine things how you do. So if you primarily imagine if you were a ride-hailing company or a taxi company and then the smartphone came through, your app never would have thought about, how you basically order a cab today, which is via your on demand, right? So you still have an app, right? So you transition, you would have an app to book, or you would have an app to call, or text. My location is this, and then you would basically do a chat with someone on the other side of the infrastructure, and then they'd get a cab. You were not able to track the cab coming to you. That is transition for me. New infrastructure, a bit more convenient, and then comes along, a bit of transformation, right? So someone says, hey, I can sort of show you where your cab is, in how many minutes it's coming through. And then, at some time, you basically go to this on-demand, even the price changes, demand,
yes,
search pricing and everything. That's complete reimagination, right? It's 3 phases. So you transition your old practices onto new infrastructure, you transform, and as you transform, the incumbents that are sharp or the new entrants, right? So that's the good thing about platform shifts is they open up an opportunity for breakthrough to new entrants and incumbents as well, right? So it's about now the curve, where you are on the adoption, etc. For some segments, again, financial services, regulated, you will have to basically wait till the hype, the Gartner hype cycle is there. During the steep phase, is the incumbents probably are a little behind. The new entrants are the ones that are going, but as the thing the hype dies down and they go into this stability phase, is where the incumbents start to gather momentum. And then, there's primarily where, post the hype phase is where I think you'll have abundant of talent for you to sort of work with. I think speculation in the hype phase sort of establishes a capacity for that particular technology, right? So all those things happen, and that is when I think paradigm shifts happen, because there's enough capacity that was created due to the hype. So hypes do have a silver lining, I should say. The speculation leads to capacity, and then that primarily sets you up nicely for the paradigm shift. But you got to be thinking through these frameworks to say, the value is established, sometimes not at scale, and you need to look through that.
Now, mind you, this is a bank literally telling you this. We are at that paradigm shift, right? We are at that point in time where we now have the big banks, some of the biggest banks there are out there telling us what's exactly happening here. This is a fundamental change in the entire environment around everything finance. And by the way, DZ Bank is an absolute giant when we look at this, right? Germany's second largest bank, DZ, to launch crypto custody, wants a wholesale digital euro as well. That's what they said back in October of 2022. And then also, Germany's DZ Bank preparing crypto solution for cooperative banks. Again, all of the banks here are ready. And it all goes back to that original post. Like I said, banks are ready to adopt DLT. Sure, they might need some assistance. In this case, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority is launching this incubator essentially for it to assist them in adopting DLT. And we'll probably see a lot more of these. But DZ Bank, they already chose who they're going to work with. Here we have Medico's Harmonized underpins DZ Bank's digital asset custody solution. This was back in 2023 before, Medico fully transitioned over to Ripple custody. Also, during that same exact time, DZ Bank was involved in the EIB bond transaction, which settled in a wholesale CBDC pilot transaction provided by the Banque de France. Again, all of this is tied together, and this is based around a digital euro. I'm sure that at some point in time, an RO euro stablecoin will become, reality. But also over here, we have the bank has partnered with Ripple to create a solution that integrates seamlessly with existing capital market processes, aims to optimize the custody, settlement, and management of digital assets. This is the largest German depository bank with a volume of 350 billion euros in assets under custody as of the end of August 2024. I bring up all of this because, guys, when we think about how big Ripple has become, they are the institutional powerhouse in the space. And if all the big banks now are lining up, or at least starting to line up, they have been trialing for a while. And trials, don't get me wrong, these pilot programs and these trialing phases, they're great. But there was also a quote, and I want to say that it was from Franklin Templeton, but I might be blanking on the name a bit. But they said that pilots and trials are not enough. They must start to go to market. If they really want to survive, the go-to-market time is now. That's why 2025 is shaping up to be a massive year. And I think that that's exactly why we're starting to see announcements like this one, which I go back to because it is a very significant announcement. It's confirmation that the banks are now ready to adopt DLT. We are seeing DLT and blockchain becoming integrated within the traditional system. This is very important to focus on. So with that being said, if you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.